So, dear students, I welcome you to my class. It's my great pleasure that you have joined the class, and I hope our class should be interactive. You will listen to me, and I will also listen to you. I will explain my topic. I will just try to clarify the topic that I am going to discuss today. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Question me. And I will also question you to know whether you are attentive, whether you are listening to me carefully, or whether you are curious regarding what you are learning. It's very essential. If you stop questioning, you stop learning. So you have to keep on questioning. Anyway, dear listeners and learners, today I like to discuss advantages and challenges of machine translation. And I will also give some recommendations for machine translation. So now I like to give you a very brief preamble. Machine translation, I think, is a very common terminology nowadays. We are living in a multicultural world. You can't guarantee that you are living in a monolithic uh, society. We are living in a society which is always going through dialogues, negotiations. That is, we are always experiencing a dialogic society because our society is always at dialogue with the other societies. Human civilizations, different civilizations of human beings, developed at different times. And these civilizations ultimately got integrated. So why? We need integration because we believe togetherness is a strength, or integration is a strength. So we have to reach each other. We have to enrich each other. We have to listen to each other. But the most remarkable barrier of our comprehensibility is language. The language that a Latin American speaks is quite incomprehensible to me. And the language that I speak is also incomprehensible to him. But we want to know each other. Now, how? We can know each other through translation. In the past, that is 2 decades ago, there was an age of human translation and human translator. That is, human beings used to translate. But now you think that our today's world is mostly of technological world. We're living in the world of technology. We are living in the world of high-tech communication. Now we want to know what is happening in other parts of the world. And the people living in other corner or the farthest corner of the world also want to know what we are doing. So we are interested in each other, in each other's issues. But language is a barrier. And only a translator can remove this barrier to a great extent. Though not 100%, but 80% or 90% is possible. As our world is moving fast, it is not now possible to translate our text for 3 years or 5 years. Because every day, at every moment, we find new texts. Texts are being generated at every moment. Texts are being published at every moment in almost every corner of the world. And we want to know more and more. How is it possible? Human translation is not always able to bring all these resources, that is, intellectual resources, to us. We need machines to speed up the job of translation. And that's why machine translation is a reality as well as necessity. If you do not know how to translate a text within the shortest possible time, you must lag behind. We want to know the other people in the shortest possible time. And machine can help us in this very particular job. That is, we can use machine to translate different intellectual resources of different languages, of different nations, of different cultures. So machine translation is not our luxury. It is our necessity. We use machines. We use Google, Gemini. We use ChatGPT-4. We use artificial intelligence, the latest versions of artificial intelligence. The version of 2026 we use. So the technology which was used in 2025 is not now at its previous place. It has got lots of additions. It has got modifications. It has brought about changes in itself, and it is able to bring about changes in the society, in the activities of the users. In the past, suppose 1 year ago, artificial intelligence could not understand the context. It could not align with the context or with the cultures or cultural realities. That's why it usually used to put emphasis on word for word or word for word translation. But now in 2026, it is now said, or it is now believed that AI in 2026 is able to align with the context. Not only that, it can also align with human emotions. That's why machine translation is now becoming more and more credible, authentic, widely acceptable. But still, machine translation has got some challenges. How can we overcome these challenges? So we will address this question today in our discussion. Machine translation has made our life faster. It has made our life speedier. So it has got lots of benefits. So what are the benefits of machine translation? We will discuss today. But machine translations have still some difficulties. It is not always acceptable, equally acceptable to everybody. It is not still 100% able to take care of the security of the private data. So what should we do on the face of all these challenges? So I will discuss the answer to this question today. And last of all, we will put some recommendations for further improvement or for handling AI or other machines for translating our text more effectively. So, dear students, let's proceed. The first issue that you find on the screen is benefits of machine translation. Machine translation adds to our speed, that is, speed and efficiency. Suppose in the past, while a human translator took 3 years or 4 years or even 5 years to translate a text, now within 3 days or 5 days or 7 days, you can translate a text by machines. I can give you an example. Only a few days ago, I read a book, Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati Roy, a very seminal book, autobiographical text by Arundhati Roy. I think you know this author, an Indian author. And she was a Booker Prize winning author for her great fiction, God of Small Things. So only 10 days or 15 days after the publication of this book in English, the translation of this book was possible, was available in our Nilkhet area. You know, it's a great hub of books. If you want to have books or if you want to purchase any book, just go there and you will find the books there. So I was surprised that such a voluminous text is translated only within 10 days or 15 days after its publication. How is it possible? So out of curiosity, I started reading the translation, Bengali translation. And I was surprised and I was also shocked at the horrible translation. It was a translation, okay, because it was in a different language, Bengali language, from English to Bengali. So in this sense, it's a translation. But while I started reading it closely, I found that there was no rhythm, no alignment with the original style, or even there is no consistency, no smoothness of language. The language sounds very, very dry and mathematical. So I was really shocked. So out of curiosity, I asked a person who is also a prominent translator in our country regarding this translation and the translator. Then he told me, okay, it's actually done by AI. Though you find the name of the translator on the cover page, he suspected it was his apprehension, and it was also my apprehension that this book was not translated by that very person whose name is usually exhibited on the cover page. It was mostly translated by a machine. But machine translation is not negative. I do not oppose machine translation. But the thing that I oppose is the carelessness of the translator in editing. So he got this book translated by machine, most probably, but he did not edit, review the translation. That is the problem. And that's why that very book, that is translation, sounded very dry, lifeless, and segregated. So I think from this very example, one point that is clarified to you is that while you use a machine for translation, you have to edit the translation, or the product that you derive from machine translation must be edited very meticulously. Otherwise, your machine translation will not be able to have accessibility into the hearts of the readers. So I have just mentioned one disadvantage of machine translation, but at the same time, I do like to say that a machine translation is essential because you don't have enough time. You don't have eternal time to to translate only 3 or 4 or 5 books in your whole life because you have to do a lot of jobs. So anyway, machine translation gives us speed, but at the same time, it snatches away. It snatches away our impulses, our emotions. But in terms of speed, in terms of efficiency, I think machine translation is good. Another important benefit of machine translation is that it is cost effective. Cost effective. So, how can you call it cost effective? You may question me. It is cost effective because uh, you can save your money. While you appoint a translator, that is human translator, you have to pay. And nowadays, professional translators usually earn a good amount of money. So if you appoint a professional translator to translate your book, you have to pay for him. You have to pay him for his job. But while you use a machine for translating, you need not spend as much money as you have to pay to a professional translator. So machine translation can save you money. And then accessibility and communication. Machine has got a democratic status. You can have an access into machine, or even a boy who lives in a village, if he can buy data, he can also have an access into the machine, which is not possible in terms of human translator. Suppose a human translator claims 100,000 taka for translating a book. If you are a rich person or solvent person, you can pay. But if you are not solvent, you can't pay. So human translator is not accessible to everybody, while a machine is accessible to anybody. That is the person who can buy data. And then it has got also scalability. That is, you can scale, you can measure what you are doing. You can also compare your target text with the source text, or how many words you will use and how many words you will not use. You can decide. Just give accurate commands to the machine, and machine will do the job. And then consistency. A human translator may lose consistency because human mood fluctuates. The things that make you happy today may not make you happy tomorrow. You may be happy today, you may not be happy tomorrow. You may be depressed tomorrow, you may be elated today. So your mood always fluctuates. So while you translate a text with this very fluctuating mood, that may affect your translation. But on the other hand, a machine is not usually guided, influenced by human impulses. So it can maintain consistency from beginning to the end. And then another point, continuous improvement. Machine is improving continuously. So I think you can now sing, you can now enjoy a song. Our election, general election is approaching, so The candidates are playing on the songs to draw the attention of our voters. So please don't misunderstand me. I am not singing. The song is coming from outside. So continuous improvement is going on. The AI that was functioning in 2025, that very AI, you will not find in 2026. You will find an upgraded version of AI in 2026. So the capacity of machine is always improving. And then support for low resource languages. Suppose the languages which we do not use in mainstream, you can translate them with the help of machines. For example, you do not know Chakma language because it's not your mainstream language. But you can use your machine and translate a text of Chakma language into your mainstream language. So this is a benefit of machine translation. So anyway, these are some of the benefits. There are some other benefits. I think you can add some more points to this list. So I request you to do that. And tomorrow we have a class. So in the classroom, you can bring some more points to the classroom. We will listen to each other. Now, what are the disadvantages of machine translation? The first and foremost disadvantage of machine translation is that it lacks accuracy and nuance. So why does it lack accuracy? It lacks accuracy because it cannot align with human emotion. If you are a human translator, you will align yourself with the context of the text, situations, realities which shaped the text. But a machine does not have the alignment with all these external agents which usually shape the text. And that's why the translation that a machine produces is not 100% accurate. It may be 60% accurate or 50% accurate, but not 100% or 90%. Then poor handling of the context and ambiguity. I think I have already discussed this point. And then limited cultural and emotional understanding. A machine does not align with emotions. I think you know it. Machine is not a flesh and blood. It's only a software. It works on data. It works on algorithms. It works algorithmically through permutation and combination process. And then the quality also varies for language pair. Suppose this text which you are translating in Bengali. If you translate it into German language, you will find that it is different. And if you translate the German text into Spanish language, you will find it's a different text. So there is always something missing. There is always something added to the existing text. It is because of the charisma of translation process. And machine can make this particular point more visible. And then errors in specialized or technical texts. Suppose you are translating a folk tale of our country, folk tale, okay? The tale or the story which is usually popular among the common people living in the rural areas of our country. If I give you an example, she balu nodite গোসল করতে গেল. Your machine may translate it sandy river, Balu Nodi. But you know that in our country, especially in Dhaka city, the people who live here in this city know the river named Balu Nodi. This is not sandy river. Actually, the name of this river is Balu, not sand. A machine may translate it. Why? Because machine cannot negotiate with our realities, the local realities. So if it is a specialized text or technical text, suppose a medical text, a machine may not function properly. Then dependence on training data. Machine depend on data. The data that you have in your store are the boundary, and within this boundary, a machine can work. It cannot go beyond it. It always works on its store of quintillions of data. And then privacy, security, privacy and security. Privacy, data is your property. Your data is your property. And nobody wants to leak out or publish his or her property. But while you are translating, by using AI or by using ChatGPT or Google Gemini, you will find that that very machine will preserve the data that you claim from the machine. Yes, it will generate data for you, and at the same time, it will preserve the data. So while the next person will come and search for that very same data, he will or she will find it there. So it's a security issue. And it is one of the fatal limitations of machine translation. And the last of all, post-editing required. Most probably I discussed this point earlier. Suppose you get a book translated by a machine. You must not think that it is the final production. You have to edit it. Otherwise, there may be some mistakes that may instigate the readers to question about the authenticity of this translation. So you have to edit. If there is a proper noun in your source text, the machine may translate the proper noun, which is wrong. Okay. For example, a Chanmia must not be translated into Munmia or Munger. Chanmia is Chanmia because this name is quite popular in our culture. So if the machine can align with the culture, then it's okay. If it can't negotiate with the culture, if it can't communicate with the culture, then it may produce some wrong translations. And that's why if you want to make your translation, machine translation especially, credible and authentic to your readers, then you have to edit it extensively. Otherwise, your translation may lose the confidence of your readers. So we have already known the benefits of machine translation and some disadvantages of machine translation or negative aspects of machine translation. We are actually living in an age of machine translation. Now you may question, what should be the role of humans in machine translation age or in the process of machine translation? What should be your role? The role of a human translator has evolved into that of a quality strategist. That is, you are an editor. So while you get your text translated by machine, you have to edit it. You have to try to compare the style of the target text with that of the source text. You have to compare the diction of two texts. Then you have to edit the text. If you find any mistakes, if you find that the translation does not align with the context of the source text, then you have to correct it. Otherwise, it will not be able to achieve authenticity or credibility. Then use machine for translation, not transcreation. Now, what is transcreation? You will find the definition just below. Transcreation means you have the liberty to change or to modify. You will take the content of a text and it will modify it, simplify it, reinterpret it, and make it convenient and congenial to your target readers. This is called transcreation. Transcreation is different from translation. A translator does not have any right to distort a text. He is not allowed to do it. He cannot go away from the root. He must stick to the root. So transcreation usually creates deviation from the root. Another important point, which we usually experience on the face of machine translation, that is, while traditional translation focuses on being accurate, transcreation focuses on being effective. So accuracy and effectiveness. A human translator puts emphasis on accuracy. On the other hand, machine, that is transcreation. If you transcreate a text, then it puts emphasis on effectiveness. How effectively it approaches the readers. Now, what are the futures of machine translation? As you know that nowadays machine translation is very popular because our life is getting faster and faster. We need speed. There is no time to look back or to move back. So if you think from this very particular perspective, you will find that machine translation has got very brilliant prospects. You will find its demand in the growing market. The market is expanding. For example, tourism in our country is expanding. So tourists from different countries come to our country to visit different areas. We have World Heritage Sites. We have the largest mangrove forest in our country, like Sundarbans. We have the longest sea beach. We have World Heritage Sites like Paharpur, Buddha Bihar, Shompur Bihar. So tourists from different countries come to visit our country. So our tourism sector is expanding. So the demand of machine translation is also expanding. The need for local language support. So we need local language support because machine translation may make your translation dry. So local language, which is a repository of the local people's history, heritage, culture, thought process, aesthetics, economy, politics, etc. So that very language is to be used as a support. That is, it should have a supportive role in this process. Otherwise, it will not find sufficient number of vocabulary or sufficient number of words, appropriate words to make your translation convincing and authentic. Then applications across sectors. Your translation must not be confined to only medical science or only literature or only language. Your machine translation should have a multidimensional role. It will embrace all branches of knowledge. So it will always go beyond its sectors. But there are some challenges of machine translation. Low resource nature of Bengali and dialects. Low resource nature of Bangla. Suppose while you are translating a text by machine, you may not always find necessary words or necessary vocabulary. And then quality and accuracy are two important aspects of machine translation that cannot be guaranteed by machine. You have to edit and try to reduce the chances of being incongenial or being unauthentic. Then infrastructure and resource investment. So these are the supports that you need, but we have scarcity of all these resources. Then domain specificity of post-editing needs. That is post-editing. You need to, hey, welcome back. I was discussing the challenges of machine translation. So skill and human resource gap. There is another gap. And this is a challenge that we have to overcome if we want to maximize or ensure the maximum benefit of machine translation. A skill and human resource gap. That is the space or the pace with which a machine works is not available with human beings. And if you think of the third world countries like Bangladesh, it will not find sufficient resources or infrastructural support for doing this job of machine translation. And it will also not find always with many sufficient skill. Why? Because skill development requires training, and training requires or involves cost or it has got cost involvement. And third world countries are not always able to invest the money essential for developing a skill. So that's why we cannot sometimes use machine or the tools for translating text properly. That is another challenge. So anyway, these are the challenges, but I think we can overcome the challenges if we take this issue seriously, because we are hopeful, because we have already overcome some challenges. We can also adopt some specific roles. For example, the changing role of humans, that is, humans are becoming editor, not translator. You need not translate, you need to edit. So give your job to the machine, machine will translate, but you must not leave the job. So there is a shift, that is a paradigm shift from the role of translator to the role of editor. We find this change or shift today, paradigm shift of the role of a translator, that is from a translator to an editor. The machine will translate and it will edit for ensuring accuracy. Then the fear that AI will replace translators has evolved into the reality of a human in the loop. We are still afraid that AI may snatch away our jobs. But I think if we can align with AI, as you know, that human beings are very creative. At every changing situation, human beings innovate something, some new ways. So I think AI will not make the people unemployed. It would rather create some new jobs, and the people will leave the old jobs and take up the new jobs. That would be the shifting. So if anybody says that he is afraid of AI, then okay, he's also right. Most probably he is concentrating on the loss of old jobs. But I think the society is renewing at every moment. There is an evolution, consistent evolution in the society. So the jobs will also change. The nature of jobs will also change. So machine translation or the presence of machine or the tools of translation in our life is a reality. It's a necessity. So we need not be afraid of AI or ChatGPT or some other technological tools for translation. Human beings will also take up the job of quality supervisor. That is, it will supervise how the machine is working and then ensure quality. So you are not unemployed. Suppose you are a translator. You must not think that your job has been snatched away by AI. Let the AI do its job. After it finishes, you have to start your job. You have to edit. You have to take necessary steps to ensure quality. So you are not a translator now. You are an editor. You are a quality supervisor. And you are also cultural consultant. Why? Because if AI or machine loses the context or the connectivity with the context, you have to discover it and take necessary steps to bring about connectivity between the target text and the source text. Large language model. Large language, that is the language of machine. Our human language and the machine language. These two are different. And your dexterity, your skill lies in your ability to bring these two together. So you have to do it. There is large language and human language must be brought together. Large language models are built on a specific architecture called the transformer, invented by Google in 2017. Its superpower is a mechanism called self-attention. Now, what is self-attention? Unlike older AI that read one word at a time, the transformer looks at the entire sentence at once. So this is the development. Once it could read a single word and translate it. So single word and translation, single word and translation. But now it can consider the whole sentence and then translate the whole sentence at a time. This is the development. And last of all, I do like to say that machine translation has got limitations, but we human beings have the ability to overcome the limitations, so we need not be afraid. This is my recommendation. And another recommendation is that we have to take care how seamlessly a machine can integrate translation with the global business sub-ecosystem. We are an integral part of the whole system, that is ecosystem. Eco, that is our surrounding situations, realities, issues. All these constitute ecosystem. So we are an integral part of this ecosystem. So we have to align our translations, our machines, our tools, everything to this ecosystem. If we can do it, then I think we need not get afraid of machines. Machines are not a threat. Machines are not our rivals. Machines are our collaborator. So this is all about our today's discussion. So now I like to invite your questions. If you have questions, please ask me. I will try my best to answer to your questions.